So this was supposed to be out quite a while ago. I recorded a version of this video, and the audio was really terrible. I'm hoping I can do that without it being terrible. Anyway, okay. So again, if you haven't come across my channel before, I'm Mel's. Just like call me Mel's. I am a student of classics, a writer. I'm sort of a political lefty, and I hope to get into philosophy. And this is going to be the start of, well, a series I plan to have on my channel, and is in fact the reason I started having a channel in the first place. I wanted to basically find the philosophy and deconstruct the narrative in certain things, and basically do these deep dives into various sorts of media, different topics, things that were going on, and this will be my first attempt at doing that. And another thing that I noticed, which is sort of funny, is that a lot of the old channels that I admire, most of which have nothing actually to do with gaming, usually have some sort of gaming video, some sort of let's play video, or at least some sort of reaction thing to a game. So I thought, oh hey, why don't I do my first few episodes, and I say few episodes because I'm going to break this one up into parts, on a game. Like, why not? Hey, couldn't hurt. At least it's funny. You know, I want to be funny. Anyway. So, and game I picked was Gris, or Gris, if you pronounce it the French way. And, spoiler alert, I am not a gamer in the slightest. I have played very few, and mostly I like pretty adventure, heavily narrative-based things. This happened to be the first one that I ever played, and I happen to really love it, and I think it actually has a great deal of depth and richness that we could delve into. So what I'm going to do is, there's prologue and there's these various realms, and because it takes a while and I've already taken up so much time with this intro, I'm just going to do bit by bit and upload them separately. Those are also easier for me to check the quality of, so I don't lose half an hour video in like 3 days of my life, which, forgive me, I am a newbie at this, but like that sucked. Anyway, I'll just take a drink of water and we'll start the game, and I'll just sort of react and talk to you about it as I go. I'm gonna quickly adjust the volume here, so you should be able to hear the game's music in me fairly clearly. So let's begin. We want this full screen. And here's the opening. Well, almost. Wait, why are you wonky? And in we go. And to this very beautiful opening. And down she goes. So this opening is like so beautiful and evocative to me of a lot of the main themes of this game. This game basically features this character sort of recovering from grief, but I feel like, and it's of course in this sort of magical setting, but it's just so evocative. You feel so supported by people you care about and ideas and all sorts of things. And like having the hand supporting her and then crumbling apart along with her losing her voice. It's like the main way to express herself. It's just, I love it. I love it. As well, you may have noticed there's all those colors, which is like sort of you symbolizing various things, various qualities in her life that she has lost or has to regain. And so here we are in this blank space. She still has some color, but nothing else does. And that's what we go out of, which I feel like that is a very natural part of the recovery process. She walks forward. Now, I just gotta pause for a second and say that I love this character design, because I feel like it's really reflective of the duality. She's clearly very strong and full of life, and you see that in like the hair, you see some of that in the face and the cloak, and then you see these arms and legs which are just like sketched things that just don't even really look like limbs. Let's give her a moment. And here we go to our first stage of grief. And I feel like you'll notice that the statue is lying as if it had fallen down and couldn't get up, which is sort of reflective of Gris's state. And denial. You'll notice even the details. There's a lot in this beginning part of her holding her head and shaking it. But now we're on to the adventure. Now there's not much to talk about. You've seen the statue. You see all of this gray landscape around you. But then we start to notice some interesting things. Not particularly surprising that this is mostly black and white. A really stark landscape, which I honestly love. The plants look very dead and twisted. Kind of, in shock as she was. Now she has to go up a hill and down it to get to things. And this happens several times. I mean, it's probably a usual, demarcation of the game. Also, those creatures that went by, I don't really want to spoil it too much, but you might notice they look a little hard to identify. A lot of things in this game can morph depending on the situation. Now, here we meet our first rock creatures, which I'm I'm gonna talk about later. I love the architecture here. It's very, I don't know. It's sort of classical, and then again, it sort of has kind of an Egyptian-y thing with how the columns are shaped. I don't know. And here we have our first star. Now the stars are part ways to get places and part like little companions. You'll notice that it's just like scooting along behind her like that. There's a lot of themes about, heavenly objects and sort of, heavenly balance. Again, we'll talk about that soon enough. There's not really too much to specifically talk about in this part, but I'll just notify you of things. Alright. Sorry. I just really love the architecture of this part, so just pausing to look. Okay. Got another star. Up we go. And keep an eye out because we have this creature. Which again, remember I hinted that about the little ones. This sort of looks like if you crossed a butterfly with a ray. Yeah, sadly we never see this creature again. I am disappointed. Alright. Seems interesting to me that, like, the most intangible seeming things are, like, the tangible bridges to places. But, can't do that yet. We're going to go here. And this thing is what's called by the game a memento. Unlock some memories at the end. But you might have noticed that it looks a little like a sort of solar system, just center with things orbiting around it. And we also have these stars necessary to make bridges and companions. I feel like when we feel like we haven't had a stable foundation in our stable physical realm, we often turn to things that are more intangible, spirituality, feelings, finding some kind of story. I feel like the opposite can happen. Some people become very material once their worldview is disrupted in some way, for example. And so I really like that little design. Now, what we're doing here is we're gathering our first color and getting back to our main starting point. We do that by going into the hands each time. Gorgeous. Now, anyway, coming back to the hands, I feel like that might be representative of finding new ways to support oneself, especially since it's associated with regaining certain powers. And up we go. Now, see that thing I said about the intangible and the stars? Well, here's our main starting place, a temple. And up they go. Alright, so that's part one. I'm going to leave Gris and you guys there for now. I hope you enjoy. If you're a newcomer, I'm just starting out. I do a lot of explanatory videos, and this is the start of my series, Philosophy of, exploring sort of, philosophical ideas, narrative, and all sorts of media, and like sort of applying it to the world. I'm just playing around with this one, so feel free to leave any feedback. I'm a newbie. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, comment, whatever. And hopefully I will see you next time.